Hello and welcome to this week's Modern Toyfare News. We are going to be doing things a little bit differently this week because of San Diego Comic-Con. As we record, it is Thursday night, so there are still 3 days left in the con, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so that we won't have all of the announcements, but we will have a large portion because they started coming through on Monday. So we're going to break this up into 4 separate episodes. We're going to have a NECA episode, a Mattel episode, a Hasbro episode, and then an everything else episode. So you kind of get your pick of the poison, or you can watch all 4, but I figured it'd be easier than giving you guys a 3-hour episode to try to sort through, and then I have to put timestamps, which I really don't want to do. But let's start off with I'm Michael, and my co-host, as always, is at Jamar_Games. How are you this week, Jamar?
Hi. Just so people know, my name is actually Jamar and not Jamar_Games. Just for clarification.
Just for clarification. Would you not like me to call you by your tag anymore?
No, just in case anyone was confused. They're like, who is
I mean, your last name rhymes with games, so I don't think it really makes a difference. It's the underscore that might get confusing.
That is true. That's actually in my middle name, so.
Oh, underscore.
Yes.
You should legally make that your middle name. That'd pretty. You don't
That's
have to worry about
dedication.
copyrights then.
Oh God, I've derailed the show already.
You have, but that's okay because it's going to be a real rough one. Just with all the things we have to talk about and unwrap. But we're going to pass it off to future us, who are going to give you one of the 4 topics I told you. So sit back and enjoy. All right, welcome to the NECA episode of our San Diego Comic-Con coverage for Modern Toyfare News. We're going to start off with the kind of first major announcement they dropped. They announced a Misfits Christmas Fiend 8-inch action figure. He has a soft goods Santa cloak. It comes from a fabric present sack and 2 sets of hands. Also has interchangeable heads. No price. They just kind of said, hey, he's shipping in November. So there's a Christmas present for you, I guess. This is kind of cool. I'm not a Misfits guy, but it's kind of a clever little mashup with the Christmas stuff in the present sack.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I know they have done a lot of horror-ish things, and it's pretty cool. That's all I can really.
I mean, that's kind of a big thing. When they're not completely fumbling through mass media, they do a lot of horror monsters and rock star band, metal bands and stuff. So I mean, it's kind of right up their alley, and I know a lot of people were excited for it. I'm not gonna lie, almost would consider picking it up depending on the price point, just for the Santa cloak and the sack alone. Dress up, maybe
do it for a sack.
Michelangelo as Santa.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
That would be cool.
I've done stupider shit. I mean, I bought 4 Raphaels so I could have trench coats for all of my turtles. So
paid that scalper price too.
Which, I mean, luckily, because everyone went Casey, he wasn't as bad, and I was able to then sell the Raphael figures that I didn't need for not quite as much, but probably about 80% of what I paid. So I paid not terrible price for some trench coats. I paid less than I did for the custom ones, and that's all that matters.
Right. Let's call it
out. Then we did get some, not many, Ninja Turtle reveals. A lot of them were just kind of reissuing of what we've already seen. But in the cartoon Turtles on Tuesday, they revealed Mondo Gecko. He's going to be paired with Muckman, who also has Joey Eyeball. And then they revealed the Rat King, who is packed with Vernon with a swappable rat head. They also revealed the ultimate, slightly bigger android body Krang figure. And they showed off the quarter scale. Well, actually, I think it's 1/6 scale, not quarter scale. Cartoon Turtles, who have swappable faceplates and like mask eyes. Overall, I'm both happy and unhappy with these announcements, because I'm happy because out of all of them, there's only one that I need to waste my money on and fight through all of the bullshit to find.
Right.
But I'm also disappointed because I was hoping for so much more, because Granted, they never officially announced 90% of the stuff that's in their display. It's just kind of there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've got this, this, and this," but it's never like it's coming out in wave 7 or 8. It's always just kind of in the display, and you're like, "I wonder when we're going to get to see that."
So I guess I have two questions. What's out of this announcement here? It's got you going. I'm assuming it's Mondo Gecko, right?
No, for me it is the Krang android body.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because like by the time I started watching the turtle cartoons, Krang was always in his giant weird naked baby body. He wasn't in the walker. So like for me, that's my childhood. Like I loved that we got that Krang figure with Donnie in the walker. It's super cool. But I need this. Like this is a must for me. Unfortunately, aside from like knowing these characters from the newer cartoon and also from like the toy line, I don't remember them very much from the cartoon. Like,
so I guess for me it was more of the toys. Like Mondo Gecko was probably one of like the coolest like Playmate toys, like outside of like other people. There's a few other that come to mind.
Outside of the rest of the toy line, he was awesome.
Yeah, well, outside of like the turtles and the other like villains, I guess.
The main cast.
Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say.
He was a great B+ player.
Yeah, I mean personally, I get why Vernon is matched up with Muckman, or not Muckman, but Ratkeen. But I kind of wish it was that because I just want Vernon just because it's always such a silly looking like character. But so question: what's up with these cartoon turtles?
The big ones?
Yeah, they're just like
so. I keep getting the scale mixed up because there's so many different companies that do like 6 scale versus quarter scale. I think NECA does the quarter scale, not the 6 scale. I think I'm gonna have to retreat on what I said before. But essentially, they're like huge ass Ninja Turtle figures. Like you know how they have like the big versions of the movie ones that then they later release as the small ones. Well, they did it this time in reverse. They did the cartoon ones big second.
Okay.
But these ones, their mouths are swappable.
Yeah, that's
and their masks like have 2 sets of eyes that you swap them out with. Randy claims that there are going to be different expressions for each turtle, and each turtle comes with 2 mouths and 2 eyes. Well, 2 eye, like pairs of eyes.
Yeah, 2 pairs of eyes. 4 eyes.
However, every single one that they showed off in the pictures was the same generic like happy face or like meh face.
Yeah.
And either angry eyes or happy eyes. So I'm assuming they just haven't gotten that far in production. Or he's just not like fully in the loop of what they're doing.
I don't care. Either he doesn't know or he's lying, so I don't care.
I mean that is his history at this point for the past like month. So he might just be misinformed, or he might be hoping that they can rework it to change some things for the other 3 turtles. But based on the pictures we got, I didn't see any difference in the faces except for those 2 versions.
They look like the same to me, but that was kind of cool. I don't think I will actually jump on that though, just because one,
they're too big for me.
And that's the other thing is like they're giant. I have some of the like original Playmate ones that are really huge, and I have like the movie ones, but realistically, I don't really want anything that big. So that's cool,
like having the Mondo like animated Batman and the Mondo Leonardo, like those are pretty much my limit. Like there's too big for the amount of space I have. Like I don't even have enough space on my shelves here and in the rest of the room for all of my stuff to begin with. Let alone trying to fit a bunch of 12-inch or 16-inch or 18-inch, however big they end up being, action figures. That's why I don't collect Hot Toys, on top of the fact that they're just crazy expensive.
Right.
I am a little butthurt though, because I want these faces for my 6-inch turtles.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. But I mean, if it's a bigger turtle, maybe it's easier to make them like replaceable. I don't know.
I mean, don't get me wrong, 100%. It's easier to make something bigger, have pieces, than it is to make them smaller. Yeah. However, with technology, most of these head sculpts they can scale down and then produce.
Yeah.
I'd be happy. They don't have to make them swappable. Just give me a fucking happy face. All of my turtles have scowls on their faces. And when you're trying to like take a picture of them, like sitting in the sewer eating pizzas, and they're all like, pizza, like It just doesn't
angry.
work. Yeah, like I have them up on my shelf right now, and they're like just walking down the street, and Raph's like got the pizza on his side, and he just looks so angry at it, like it
Don't talk to me.
like it killed his parents or something. I'm like, Jesus.
Oh, God.
Which I mean, on the flip side, if they would have given us nothing but happy faces, I'd be butthurt that I can't have battle
Yeah,
scenes.
you're like, they're all happy.
That's why I need two heads. Like
Right.
they don't even need to re-release these turtles. Please don't fucking re-release these turtles.
Just sell the heads.
Just give us an expression pack. Do what DC Collectibles did with their animated series figures. Give us a pack that just has alternate heads and use some extra accessories. I'll pay fucking $30 for an accessory pack per turtle.
Cool.
You'll get my money. Take that idea, Randy, and make it available on your website, not Target, please.
Too late.
But on the flip side of that, we did see some movie turtle stuff. However, nothing new. Literally just stuff that we've seen before. But actually, well, Crush, there was one new thing, but we didn't actually see it. It was just kind of announced. So let's start with the eBay exclusive Super Shredder and Foot Soldier 2 packs. We finally got to see inbox packaging for those, and Super Shredder looks badass. The 2-pack is like every other fucking 2-pack that's released in the past month. However, the one thing they did announce that they didn't have render images, they didn't have prototypes, literally just took a dark ass scene from the movie and announced it. We're getting Hamato Yoshi, Oroku Saki, and Splinter as a tiny ass rant in a cage. So it's like a 2 3/4 pack. It has no dates, no prices, no expectations of when we're gonna actually see it in figure form. It was almost like he was like sitting there during the SDCC announcements on Tuesday for Turtle Tuesday and was like, man, we're kind of lacking luster. I know what I'll do. We're gonna make this figure pack, so I'm just gonna announce it, and that's what he did. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a cool pack, but I really don't need it.
No, it's one of those things of, it's almost like the movie Turtles, or not movie Turtles, but the Mutant Tour, where it's like, I don't need those, but I do need them. This is more like, I didn't need that, and I really don't need that.
It's a cool idea, but for 30 seconds of screen time to get its own 2-pack, seems a little excessive. Like I would have rather seen like an updated Shredder with the purple costume instead of the red costume. Literally, all you have to do is repaint the old Shredder and change up his like side plates on his mask. Like he doesn't change that much between the movies. I would have rather seen something like that. I am curious if, since they announced this, have they already done the footwork of assuming these actors are still alive, of getting their rights to the likeness?
Worked out so well for Casey, so I don't see why they would have an issue.
I mean, yeah, because they fully fucking molded his face before even asking him.
That's true.
So I'm curious if they thought this one out and actually got the rights before they announced it, because you can't hide these with masks. I mean, I guess you could paint their faces black and just be like, hey, they're in shadows like they are in the movie.
Right. Shadow figures.
Yeah, I mean, that's about the extent of what you could do if you don't get the rights. I mean, I guess unless you're nitpicky and really remember this 30-second scene, you're not going to like recognize them enough to be like, that's not Hamato Yoshi and that's not Oroku Saki. I mean, I don't know. It was very lackluster. I am like, that Super Shredder just keeps getting sexier and sexier. Like that packaging.
Every time I see it, I'm just thick. Them thighs, man.
Right? Thick with 2 C's, baby.
But yeah, it's really slick. I do like the packaging though. Like that kind of like sets it. Even though like I'm not like, oh, I really need this. But packaging is everything sometimes.
Ironically, speaking of 30 seconds of screen time, I've got a hard on for this figure, which literally like he pops out and then gets crushed.
Yeah.
And they're like, spoilers in case you haven't seen a movie that's almost 40 years old. Like, or actually no, it's 30 because it came out in 1980. Anyway, but yeah, spoilers. Super Shredder doesn't last long. But it still was a cool ass fucking figure. Like, and I feel like it's just gonna be one of those things where you can just have Shredder in front of him, and it's just kind of like a Bruce Banner and the Hulk kind of pose.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But that wraps it up for the Turtles. So if you feel disappointed, you're not alone. They did move on to even more disappointments though, because then they had the Predator announcements, and it seemed like the announcements were more spoken word and less pictures, because people are talking about like all these things that were announced. I dug through. I literally went to Twitter, clicked media, so I could see every picture they've posted in the past week. The only Predator pictures they have is they posted a picture of some weapons that are coming with one that isn't even like out of the prototype stage, and then they announced the ultimate battle damaged City Hunter Predator. Which, don't get me wrong, this thing is badass. He comes with a swappable severed arm. He gets swappable hands, swappable head, a mask, a spear, and a murder disc. Like, this thing is awesome. And it's like we talked, I think it was a few episodes ago, we talked about how like they have the battle damage predators where they have like that bright green glowing blood everywhere. And I'm like, I was already sold on the bloodiness of it, but then you add the fact that his arm is just chopped off. Oh man, I am all in on this one.
Yeah.
Luckily, the Predator figures seem to be a lot easier to find in like stores like Target, depending on which one it is.
They're everywhere. I can buy
like the Alpha Predator, like it was the only one that I think has been hard to find. The rest of them seem to be pretty much like not peg warmers, but they make enough of them that if you want it, you can get it, kind of thing. But yeah, like I was kind of just lackluster. Like they basically went from it being Predator. What's that?
Well, that was it for Predator?
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, that's only one. Okay.
Yeah, there was literally only one reveal, like actual reveal. Like I don't count if you just say, "Hey, we're doing this figure" as a reveal. If you just tell me it's happening, no, I need to see at least give me a fucking picture from the movie like you did with Hamato Yoshi.
Here's the thing: how much more can they go? I feel like there's been like, even since we've been doing the show, I feel like I've seen at least 10 different variations of Predator.
Oh, they have a checklist, like a poster, and they're over 100 Predators that they've done.
Yeah, that's what I'm like at this point, what can they start to reveal now?
But lucky for them, there's a comic that probably has some variations that haven't seen yet. And the Alpha Predator, they fucking made that up. That's not a movie. That doesn't exist anywhere except for in their medium. And then it became a character in the Predator game because of the figure. So, like, they can literally just start making it up. And they can also go back to ones that they've already done and update them with like the newer joints and newer details, so they can keep the line going. But I definitely see what you're saying, where it's kind of hard to kind of like blow the load and be like, look at these 15 new Predator figures, when, I mean, it's not like they have that many movies to go off of.
Right. That makes sense.
That's okay, because Mar, we have to go back to the future. Action figures were revealed with some factory samples this week. First, we got the Ultimate Movie line with Marty McFly, who comes with his backpack, skateboard, video camera, alternate head, and guitar. Then we saw the 1955, which I assume means we're going to see other variations of him, Doc Brown with swappable head, which is like super crazy, like holy shit, this has happened head. Swappable hands, a wrench, the flux capacitor doodle, and the blueprints of the house. And then finally, the last reveal they did for this line was the Darth Vader like space comic version of Marty McFly, where he's in the hazmat suit.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
He does come with a hairdryer, cassette player, swappable head / hazmat suit pieces, so you can kind of have it like in different, like folded down or up or over his face, all sorts of different things. And then they didn't show them off. Like these ones all like were either like new reveals or were like in box reveals. They did, however, they're all for pre-order, but Biff and Future Marty, those ones didn't get like new updated looks with like box art or anything, However, they're in the listed pre-orders at Big Bad Toy Store, and you're looking at about $27.99 for each of these, and they are slated for this September. All except for I didn't see Doc. Doc Brown, I don't think is up for pre-order yet, which is sad because I think he might be the one I want the most.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about the. Okay, never mind. I see what you're saying. Yeah, those will probably be it. I don't know if I really want too much like for the movies. Like, I don't
I
know.
feel like my only thing stopping me from going all in this line is I would need a DeLorean. I need an in-scale DeLorean, otherwise this line just is
It ain't
incomplete.
shit.
Because, like, yeah, Marty and Doc are the main stars, but not a single movie poster did not have that DeLorean on it. Like,
Yeah,
that
man, it's
DeLorean
all about
is
the toy.
just as much a like top billing star as Doc and Marty are.
I'd say that's not, off the realm. Has Neck ever made like a vehicle?
So
Uh,
they we'll talk about this when we get to the next
Okay.
line they're doing for Back to the Future, but they have revealed a vehicle they're doing. Well,
Okay.
we're doing. Don't know if they still are. And they have discussed the potential of wanting to do vehicles for the Ninja Turtle line. But they have never, to my knowledge, done like already done like a vehicle figure in scale. But if we're going to jump into it, let's jump into it. So they did show updated photos of the prototypes for the cartoon Back to
They
the
did.
Future line with Doc, Marty, Einstein, and Biff. But as I mentioned, missing from this is the DeLorean. Last year at Comic-Con, we did see the DeLorean on display from the cartoon. And the only thing we really got is he replied to a tweet saying that as of right now, it is on hold for the time being. So I don't know if that means that they are having trouble finding a price point and finding a place to sell it,
Mm-hmm.
or if they aren't able to get the rights from the company that makes DeLoreans.
That's
I don't
probably more
know.
or less the case.
But I mean, these figures are still cool.
Yeah.
I'd rather go with the Ultimate line because I like the movie better. But just the fact that they kind of spot on it matched the look of the cartoon with
That's
these
what
figures, like they're pretty awesome.
that's what I like these cartoons because I just like look how colorful they are. I mean, I get it, like the movie is like the real deal, but like I would be upset with those two. I don't know if I do like
Yeah,
Biff
like
or
even
anything, but I
like
would just
Doc,
do
who
like
is
Doc
like
and
draped
Marty.
in white between his hair and his trench coat. Like they added like a little bit of purple in there to like give him some
Yeah,
shading and stuff. Like these figures definitely pop, and it just cracks me up every time I look at Biff because he's this fucking dopey fat guy.
his neck's all super long.
Yeah, I'm not mad at this line. I'm really hoping that they don't end up canceling that DeLorean because I feel like that was a major like thing that people were excited about for this line, but I don't think it will hurt it in the end.
Yeah, it's just still kind of cool on its own.
Yeah, it's just even the same thing if
Keeping
they
that
don't do one for the movie line. It's just gonna feel incomplete until they do, especially because they have like out there you can buy DeLoreans that are almost to scale, but they're always like either like 1/16th scale or they're like 1/10th scale. So either too big or too small to actually be in scale with your action figures. Um, but sometimes it's passable enough where unless you really look at it and see that like your dude looks like he's a child trying to drive the car, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
But I'd love to have one that's in scale that you can actually like properly and it has like all the
maybe
detail
one
and
day,
stuff.
maybe.
But you'd probably be looking at like at least $150.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, it means you're saying for just like the car, not
Yeah,
like.
just the car, not
Yeah, that's
including
what I
any
was about to
figures or
say. That's
accessories.
got to
That's
be just the
100%
car,
just the car because
right?
you also know that they're going to have lights, maybe even sounds,
Yeah,
because you have to have those blue lights going through to
books.
the
That would be
jets in the
cool.
back. Like,
That would be cool. I'm
um,
liking that. I'm liking that, but I don't think it's likely.
yeah, I think the hardest part's gonna be selling a retailer on carrying a $150 DeLorean when they struggle to get them to carry their $50 turtle figures. Um, Next up, they did announce a Target exclusive Gremlins Back to School figure, which I'm not a Gremlins fan, but this is still pretty cool. He's got like a little lunchbox that it opens up, and it's got some like notebooks and stuff. Like
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. If you're a Gremlins fan, this is definitely probably a must have. Sucks that it's Target exclusive because that means like
you're not gonna get
you can't even hope to find it at like your local comic book shop or at like GameStop or something. It's 100% just like you gotta
Yeah,
you got to get it there. And I feel like that I think that was the issue with the Alpha Predator. I think that was exclusive too, which is why it sold out so easily.
I mean, well, I guess if it's the issue with exclusivity, but I feel like you see a lot of the Gremlin, at least when I'm out and about, so maybe they might have more.
I feel like I've seen more at Walmart than Target though.
Really? Well, I guess I
Yeah,
haven't been.
like when I drove that hour hoping to find the Turtle 2-packs to that other Walmart, I went there and like their shelves were full of Gremlins. Where my Target is more like I've got Freddy, Jason, Aliens, and Predator.
Yeah.
Like even Godzilla is like hit or miss at my store.
No, Godzilla is everywhere at mine.
Well, if you happen to see that '89 Godzilla, grab it for me because I have a feeling that people are going to snag these up since they lost the license, and I'm gonna be fucked.
I'll keep an eye out next time I go, which will probably be in the morning.
Yeah, gotta go hunting for that disappointment. Speaking of Jason, though, they did show off a New Blood Ultimate Jason, which is pretty awesome. His mask comes off, and you get to see his fugly face.
So weird.
Which I mean, that's another character that like they're eventually going to run out of variations. Like, there's a lot of movies. Like, I feel like there's probably more Friday the 13th movies than Predator movies at this point. But
say so.
It's either it's like real close, but I feel like he changes a lot less than the Predators do. But it's kind of nice to see that they're still doing those, and they're kind of spreading them out. They're not like constantly like here's another one, so that way that like gets the longevity out of the line. Because it doesn't seem like they do any of the other characters, which I understand because I can't imagine someone's gonna buy a random camp counselor.
Right.
But I'm not gonna lie, if they made a Chad, I'd probably buy him.
Yeah. I mean, but still, if you're collecting these, why not have a camp counselor? Like it is
right, like especially because they've done like they have the I think it was Friday 13th 5, part 5, that has the bag over the head and the overalls. They did that, and it had like a little display that has like the Crystal Lakes sign, and then they did another pack of him like under the water, like chained with like some diorama pieces. So like they've borderline given you pieces to make a camp. So why not go all in and give you some counselors to be murdered? Like you can only have your bad guys fight other bad guys for so long before you need to mix it up.
Right. That's the whole reason why I'd say that wouldn't be terrible to have a camp counselor in that.
And then the last thing they did announce was, at least today, they're probably going to announce some more stuff Friday and Saturday. But the Creep is going to have 2 figures. He's going to be in the Toonie Terror Series 5, which they revealed that figure like full on, like you get to see it. And then they do have an ultimate version, but they only showed us the box art for this. I saw this and instantly in my head I went Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like, man,
but I'm assuming that's not it. Like, I have no idea who the Creep is. I'm assuming it's just must be some sort of like deep horror movie reference. I'm sure Jake and Wes would probably be like, "Oh my god!" But I'm not a big fan of horror movies to begin with, so it's kind of lost on me. The pictures of it on the Ultimate box look creepy as hell, so I'm curious to see how the figure looks. And I love their Toonie Terror ones. It literally looks like you could just mix murdery horror films with your Scooby-Doo figures. And I'm like, that's just the spin-off I need.
Yeah.
I need to see Fred get his head chopped off, and then Jason walking around with the ascot, like just casually on his machete.
Yeah.
They did have some behind the scenes shots of the Chucky figures they were working on, both of them being behind the scenes, and they weren't like releases or anything like that. I didn't want to go into them, mostly because they were literally just naked dolls that were unpainted and stuff, so it didn't have like anything enticing. I mean, some people were excited because they're like, "Oh yeah, new Chucky figures," but I just felt like it wasn't finished enough or like even in prototype stage to justify being like, look at this announcement.
It seems like it's got them far away.
But that's gonna be it for the NECA announcements. But because it was so lackluster, we're going to include the weekly session of Turtle Watch 2020.
Turtle Watch 2020.
So in the show notes, this past week has been just a fucking nightmare for turtles.
Oh man.
My notes literally just say Randy's still a dick and turtles are hard to find. Because that sums up the week. Like they need to take his like. I feel like he is borderline becoming the equivalent of Trump being allowed to have a Twitter as the president of the United States. Is Randy being allowed to have a Twitter? Like there's still tons of sympathizers who are, defending him and like being like, oh, you guys are just whiny bitches, blah blah blah. But this dude's a dick. Like he just mouths off to people, and he just there comes a point where like I realize that none of us are giving you our money because we can't find your shit. But you're going to eventually push people away, and I realize you don't care because you've got these big money Walmart deals, which clearly were for you and not for the fans. I don't know, and I mean, the turtles are still the ones who were supposed to release last week still haven't hit all the Target stores, and if they have, the reps apparently are in quarantine because they're not being put out. So if you go, you do have to ask your Target employees to get them, and you have to kind of explain to them they don't show up in your inventory. They're going to be in the box or in the back in a box with big ass red tape that says NECA, and just ask them to please actually go in the back and look for them, because if they try to pull them up, the DCPI does not bring anything up. But these are vendor items. They are not in their inventory, despite the fact that they are trained to believe every item has to be in their inventory. But that, unfortunately, is not how it works. I have worked retail, so I know that is a big problem. Is you train employees to know how things work, and then you have new things that go in place, but it doesn't affect them directly, so you don't explain it. So just don't be a dick to them, because they're working during a pandemic. They really don't need to deal with you and your dolls. But just be persistent. Be like, listen, I get it. It sucks, but can you please just go look? Like, people are just use the excuse. People on the internet are having employees look, and they're finding them. They're not showing up in the inventory because they're a vendor item. Can you please at least look for me and just describe the giant ass cardboard box with big red NECA tape? And if they have it, you'll luck out and they'll come out and be your hero. If they don't, then better luck tomorrow.
Yeah. Go in it with the expectation that they probably don't. So then when they come out empty-handed, you don't seem like, they ruined your day. Just, okay.
Yeah. And make sure if they do come out with the figures for you, make sure to thank them profusely, because they did not have to do that. Yeah. Despite the fact that as Americans, we believe that retail employees need to suck our left nut left and right, and they are our wage slaves. They are not. They are not required to go in the back and find items that are not on the shelf for you. As far as they're concerned, you can fuck off. So be polite, be persistent, and thank them if they find them. Thank them if they don't find them for at least doing it.
Yeah, that's all.
But thank them even more if they did. Make sure they know that they made your day, so that way, assuming they don't just hate their life as a whole, it might brighten their day up a little bit, knowing that they made someone happy, because they probably don't see very much of that in the retail business.
Yeah, that's a good thing to say.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're gonna stay on Turtle Watch topic, the San Diego Comic-Con 4-pack was botched to hell. Not a single Target got inventory in store. Like, there's not a soul. If there is, it's someone who lives on a farm and doesn't have internet, because no one has any in-hand pictures except for reviewers.
Which is such poor taste to
Oh, you mean the fact that Randy was like, "Hey, Matt Cardona is my good buddy now. I'm gonna give him a free pack," even though he doesn't review anything except for wrestling figures. So it's not like he's a influencer for NECA.
Right.
But because they're friends, he sent him a free one. And of course, Matt Cardona was like, "Look, guys, look how awesome these are. Good luck." And Randy, not reading the room, decided to retweet it while people were waiting for them to go live online. Half hour past when they were told they were going online.
While we're sitting here refreshing, asking, "Hey, what's going on? Like, are they
Yeah.
available? Are they not? Are they sold out? We don't
And
know.
his response was,
Nothing.
we don't know. We're waiting
Yeah.
just like you. And I'm
Well,
like, oh
also,
my
I
God.
tried it. Here goes a retweet from someone who, yeah, it just makes it mad.
And this is another thing I want to address. So, like, things have gotten so hostile with NECA
Mhm.
and their fan base. They're starting to turn on the reviewers and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, they're like, for instance, Pixel Dan. People are fucking lighting him up, and I feel bad because I a few weeks ago I threw shit at Pixel Dan.
Oh,
Still
what happened to the
nicest guy
interview?
I've ever seen on any
Yeah.
of these like YouTube channels, but like most reviewers, like it's a valid point to think that they're going to be nice and sympathetic to NECA and to Randy because they don't want to hurt that relationship.
Yeah.
Um, Pixel
That
Dan
dictates with
has
any kind of reviewers though, like video game, movie, like
oh
you
yeah.
always kind of have that thought, like
I
they're
mean,
gonna
that's
want
why
to like,
kind of funny anytime they discuss a video game, always have to like say, "Hey, we got this for free from Sony, from Microsoft, from
yeah,
whoever." So that way you take it with the thought of, "Oh, well, you got this for free, so that could influence it versus if you paid $60."
right.
Um, and I get it. It's frustrating knowing that someone out there got it for free when you can't even
Give
give
them
your money to get it.
$450.
Um, However, attacking Pixel Dan is probably not the best course of action for that. Um, he did address it though. Finally, he basically came out and said he tweeted something along the lines of like he gets it, um, that it's frustrating and everything, but he's worked his ass off to get where he's at
Yeah, and that's true.
to earn the right to get these figures and to never question his passion for the toy business, which I feel like was him reading a little too much into poorly worded tweets. Because realistically, I think the issue is people are mad that he's nice to Randy, so he gets nice things, and then he's nice about Randy fucking up, so he keeps getting nice things. Which is why I think they're trying to like
They call
alliterate,
him out, basically.
and
Yeah.
they're not doing a very good job. Which I tweeted something I thought was funny. I was just trying to just be a dick and also lighten the mood. I tweeted out something along the lines of when like it didn't initially go up on Target's website. I said plot twist. It's a reviewer exclusive. Fuck all you whiny Twitter nerds. Mwahaha. And then I had a gif of the turtles laughing. And some a-hole had the nerve to comment and say, "Oh, well, you're right. This is clearly, their goal is to give it to influencers to show it to us, even though
You can't get it.
so
Yeah.
that so they wouldn't sell it to you. Like that's such a great business plan. Your tinfoil hat seems a little tight." I'm like, "Fuck you, dude. It was a joke." Like, I respond to him like, "Clearly, you don't know how to take a joke because nothing in this post was even mildly serious. It was
Right.
sarcastic and mocking as fuck of both sides of the spectrum, the collectors and the company." And I even told him, like, "Listen, I don't give a shit who he gives free stuff to. I feel like if you're going to do that, do it under the table. Tell him don't release your reviews till after
Yeah, that would
it
make sense.
releases." Because one, that pisses me off as someone who's trying to start out, because it's hard for me to get you to watch my reviews when Pixel Dan, Floosh, and whoever else are getting this stuff a week early before it's
Yeah.
even supposed to release, not including the fact that it's not going to hit stores for a week after that. Um, so I feel like it should be like an embargo period like they do for game reviews where you can't put your opinion out until after it's actually at least supposed to hit stores. But like my big problem is that these people aren't influencing me to buy this.
Yeah,
These
that's
figures do not need hype. This train
yeah,
is already off the tracks and like
right.
crashed through everything.
It's the it's the Thomas the Tank Engine like thing where it's like floating off in space. Like
Exactly.
it's gone. The hype train is gone.
Like the hype train could not get more hyped. Like the
Yeah,
hype train at this point is eventually going to crash. Uh,
right. Well, it's kind of getting
I mean, it's trying its hardest. Like they're trying to steer this bitch into a tree like no other.
there.
Um, but I just feel like there's no need to give influencers free shit because no
Yeah,
one's
but
suddenly be like, "Oh, well, I saw the Floosh or I saw Pixel Dan review those Turtles figures that I was on the fence about. Like, no one's on the fucking fence about these figures.
Yeah. Especially because it's $129 for like the regular set. You either want them and you're ready to do it, or you're just like, I'm good. Like no
Yeah,
one's
there's
like,
not going to be like a
let's
sudden
see.
like,
Let me see the reviews. How's the articulation on here?
yeah,
No, you either want the fucking toys or you don't. That's it.
especially this late in the line. Like if this was like Wave 1 or back when they
Yeah.
were still Comic-Con exclusives, maybe I could see it. But Turtles 1 is a property that you don't need hype for.
Right.
And 2, the articulation hasn't changed dramatically. It isn't going to change dramatically.
Yeah, but yeah, those
And
are like,
there's zero things you could possibly put in that review that are going to suddenly make me be like, I absolutely have to have this.
right.
Even though I did before I watched it.
Yeah.
Like
That's
again,
a very fair point. And now
no,
if you want to
no
send
skin
us
off.
free shit, I'll definitely like try to build as much hype as I possibly can, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, it's not something that you need. It's like trying to put a trailer out for a movie where you already know the plot, you've already know what it looks like,
Yeah.
and you are gonna go watch it anyway. It's just not something that's like necessary. Again, no skin off my balls. He wants to give free shit to his friends. More power to him. You run the fucking company. You do you. I just think that there should be an embargo period so it doesn't fuck over people who aren't his friends
Like
when they're trying to
small
do reviews.
content creators, yeah.
And I feel like it should all be like under the table. Like just don't tell anybody. I just imply that you were able to find it. Like
Right.
I feel like that beautiful like ignorance is bliss lie will go further with the community that's angry at you because they can't find your toys, because for what a reason 2020 has taken scalpers and just like injected steroids like directly into the
Well,
heart
now
of it.
the scalpers just don't. They're like already like they were already original working from home group, and now they're like overtime. Now they're like, oh shit, of course.
Oh, it almost makes you wonder if maybe it has something to do with the fact of like the stimulus check or like unemployment,
Yeah,
like getting like the boost and everything. So like some people who normally wouldn't be able to afford to go scalp now suddenly have a lot more money that at their disposal.
that's actually a really good point. That's fair,
Like
but
that's because the market did not hit this point for any of the toy lines until
mhm,
COVID hit. COVID hit and everything, wrestling figures, Mezco figures, NECA figures,
it's
uh,
all
like everything except for Marvel Legend, oddly enough. Marvel Legends, like no one give a fuck. Um, but everything else, like the prices just through the roof. Like you something that like even older stuff that was already like higher than retail because you can't find it anymore because it's not production.
hmm,
It went from being like, oh, 25% or 50% markup from retail to being like 200% markup. But there's Mezco figures that I intended to try to get at some point in the near future
mhm,
that were around like the 150 to 250 range because they are a few years old and you can't find them anywhere. They're
right.
now over $500.
Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe that's just the inflation for that, and it's awful right now, but maybe give it a couple
I mean,
weeks,
don't be
maybe
wrong.
a
I
month.
pray that the market crashes. I
Yeah.
do. I feel bad for all the idiots who are paying these prices, but I pray that it crashes because like some of these figures, like I'll probably never be able to like reasonably get. Like I wanted to get the San Diego Comic Con Mezco Captain America because I liked the classic look better than the modern look. But he's $500, and I'm not paying $500 for a fucking 6-inch action
Right.
figure with some cloth clothes. Um,
But
like
yeah, I mean,
I'll pay top dollar for something, but there comes a point where it goes from being like car payment to being a month's half of your rent or even a month's of your rent. Like
yeah.
where it's just like it's not reasonable anymore. Like unless you are someone who's just that well off that you give no fucks, it kind of ruins it for you.
Well, hey,
Um,
maybe maybe we'll get those turtles.
maybe.
Maybe.
But that's going to be it for the NECA episode of the San Diego Comic Con Watch. So we're going to pass it off to slightly more pre-recorded us to close everything out and give you our weekly purchases. Thank you, slightly less pre-recorded us. So we're going to wrap things up here, but first let's do our weekly purchases because we know you guys love seeing the things that we spend our money on every week. I'm gonna let Jamar go first this week, just because
Oh.
I know at least one of his purchases, and it's pretty exciting.
I feel like you know both of them. We always talk anyways, like outside the show. So my first one is
You're
actually
ruining the illusion that we don't
oh.
like show each other things as we buy them and order them. Like the fact that you sent all the links to the things that you were going to buy so you wouldn't lose them.
Well, this one is for up first for show and tell is more of an update. Um, if you remember last week it was last week's episode where
Was
I
it
was
last
a
week or
little
the week before? One of them, I can't remember.
yeah, it all blurs together, but it was one of my, I guess, first personal experiences ordering from Big Bad Toy Store, and I was really annoyed that something was taking a very long time just to ship. It was like 4 days, and then after it shipped, actually, I got it really quick. So, anyways, I probably have the most adorable thing on this planet Earth, and I don't know if the camera's gonna pick that up really well because my light is
You may have to turn your light off or block it.
Let's do this. We'll lower it down. Am I too dark
Ooh,
now?
fancy.
Yeah, so this is Midoriya. Comes with three faces, three swappable faces. He has this cool little tray here arm thingy, or whatnot. But yeah, this thing is so awesome, and I have an Ellie pre-ordered on its way whenever it says, I think December 2020. So I'm really, really excited. But it's so adorable. He's crying because that's what he does a lot in the show. I absolutely love that. And then this morning, although I was met with a bunch of disappointment, I did get one thing. So it's not a turtle, but it's a turtle's best friend. I got Casey Jones, an animated 2-pack series with the foot soldier who is spliced in half,
Spliced?
sort of. Yeah, spliced, sliced, whatever. But it's really cool too because like the red wire is actually super sturdy. So it's like,
Right, I was
you know,
like, that looks like
I
it's
was
not
shocked.
like coming undone at all.
I was honestly really shocked when I opened it. I thought it was gonna fall out of the
Yeah, I thought it was
packaging,
gonna be like all
but
floppy, like a
yeah, but like it's
something.
holding just from there. So I'm gonna have him laying down, begging, like, please don't finish me off. And then Casey's standing there with the hammer. Fun fact though, if you look at the packaging, he has a shoulder pad on his left shoulder. It's missing on the actual figure. It shows it in like the animated cartoon drawing, but then also the art of the figure, like the actual figure on the back, he's missing that. So I don't know if that's just something weird or that was one of those things that were like, hey, we can't do this with you know, a few thousand toys. I would say 1 million, but they're not making that many. We all know that's the case.
That'd be way easier to find if that was the case.
I'm gonna bring my light back on so you can see my beautiful face. So that was it for my show and tell this week. Sadly, nothing really, really exciting to show you.
I mean, the Casey two pack's
Yeah,
pretty exciting. I am
I was
curious
hoping to
because
rock
I've never
some
noticed that
turtles.
in any of the pictures like that people have taken who've gotten them
Oh yeah,
of the shoulder pad or not. Like, so I'm not sure.
here we
Is there
go.
like a missing spot on him, or is it just not like?
Could you
Yeah, I see
see?
it there
Yeah,
on
you see it.
the left shoulder.
And what's weird is on the figure itself. There's no way you would see this on the camera, but on the figure itself, it's like notches on his chest
Hmm.
area that looks like it was something to push in so it'll hold. And then even on his back, on this shoulder, there's like a notch where it looks like something was supposed to like push into it. So I don't know. Yeah,
At
it's
that point,
really
I would
weird.
assume that maybe you just have a factory error on your hand because if there's
Hmm.
notches, that means they clearly intended it to be there.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I didn't really. I just kind of like started looking at it because I got it before work. But I'm curious to see other people's to see if they have that or not. I mean, cool factory error, but sucks because kind of want that shoulder pad on there. It looks cool. I'm just pulling it out. I'm like, oh, where is it at in the box? I don't see it. I'm looking everywhere. Oh, it doesn't have it. Cool. But yeah, that's it.
Well,
Interesting.
I mean, I guess there's worse things that could be
Yeah, I could have one in the
defective.
mail for you, right? But
Oh yeah, but
yeah.
unfortunately, 5 a.m. messages get me nowhere, and other friends who are hunting snake them out from under me. So I guess I'm just SOL. Well, I guess it's
First,
my
yeah.
turn. So
Yeah, what did you get
let
this
me
week?
let me move some boxes here so I
Oh
can get
boy.
to what I want to show first. Um, so this actually came last Friday. So it was right after we recorded. I got the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, done by Brian Myers and Matt Cardona, made little action figure T-shirts and championship belts that you could order. They were super limited. There was only 500 of each set. There goes him. So as of right now, I only have one of their actual action figures from when they were in WWE, because the other one is hard to get and right now crazy expensive and not worth it. But here is his shirt. Has the Major Wrestling Figure podcast logo on it. Just Velcros in the back, which is nice. It feels like a legit one that would come with the Mattel Elite figures. But then I do have, I took my Kurt Hawkins figure and I actually turned it into a Brian Myers figure, and he is wearing both his Scratch That Figure It shirt and the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Championship belt. So
pretty cool.
He's pretty awesome. I did go and like completely body swap him. I put different hair on him and put him on a body that has like jeans and stuff, having his wrestling tights. So a lot of work went into that one. And it definitely completes it having that shirt. So this morning after I woke up to you and Cody's texts, I decided to go to Target just for why not, right? Like, yeah. It's worth a try. I knew they weren't going to have the 4-pack. That was obvious.
Really? Because I went on your notion of probably have it.
Okay, so let me get this. Let me explain this. So I had low expectations of it being there.
Yeah.
But still believed it. And then this morning when I saw 0 like in-hand images, I was like, okay, they're not going to have it. It's not just some Targets have it, some don't. It's a no Targets have it situation. But I still asked the nice young gentleman who worked in the electronics if he could go check for me. And I must say, not all heroes wear capes, because despite the fact that you failed me, I did not.
Oh. I can't believe you made me feel bad. Fuck you.
And I want to say I feel bad and I'm sorry, but mine does have the shoulder pad.
So you motherfucker.
I almost slipped up and spilled the beans early when you pointed out the shoulder pad thing. Yeah. And when you were talking about like, oh yeah, the red wire, I'm like, oh yeah, I was super impressed by that. I'm like, no, I wasn't. But so here's the fun thing though. That wasn't all that he brought back to me. So there was another little doohickey that he
oh my god
brought me.
Seriously?
But see, here's the kicker, Jamar. I don't fail.
Shut the fuck up.
So they only had 2, and I got 1 for me and 1 for you.
You're gonna make me
Mine
cry,
is currently up on the shelf, hidden. I was curious to see if you paid attention to my backdrop at all.
It's got him hard to see.
Him cleaning up right here, Rocksteady and Bebop.
Yeah, I see it now.
And then yours is still minty fresh in the box, ready to be shipped to you.
Oh, amazing, dude. Amazing. I normally don't cry on podcasts, so you know.
Well, if this is my audio, new goal is.
Oh god.
But yes, since we do an audio version of the podcast now, essentially what I just revealed is I found the NECA metalhead.
Yeah, we should probably be a little bit more descriptive.
Yeah, instead of just being vague, like, look at this thing in my hand. Granted, I haven't checked to see if anyone actually listens to it, but hey, who knows? But yes, so those are my 3 weekly purchases. It took every fiber of my being to hide that from you all day.
I will let you know, dude. I was depressed. I'm not even joking. So honestly, like, I really do appreciate it that you found that, because I thought in my heart of hearts when I found the Casey Jones 2-pack that I was like, oh, for sure, I'm getting Metalhead, and I'm like, I'm gonna get 2. Like, I was excited about it, and I went to 4 Targets, and that's all I walked away with. So
yeah, at that point, after 4 of them, and one of them just had the Casey Jones, I have to assume someone snagged Metalhead. Likelihood of him just randomly not being there, but Casey is, even though they were releasing the same day.
Yeah.
But yes, so after 2 weeks of fighting with Target employees and them telling me I'm wrong of all the information that we've gotten from NECA reps and NECA themselves and other
Right.
random people who work at Target, that these do not show up in the inventory. They're a vendor item, but they are still in the back. So don't take
Yes.
no for an answer. Look at this
100%.
guy. I said that to him. I showed him a picture of that someone posted on Twitter of what the shipper looks like that is
Oh,
in the back of Target.
yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'll go check. And he went back. 10 minutes later, he walks out with one of each. I'm like, can I get a second metalhead for my buddy in Ohio? He's like, yeah. He goes and gets it and brings it out to me. And Jake, who is my cousin and also on Fanboy Fight Club with us, was there with me for the whole process because he decided randomly to go to Target in the morning, even though he doesn't collect turtles. And so he's staying next to me as we're waiting and we're just chatting and discussing the shit show that is Funko. Oh boy.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna post in the group
Yep.
chat that you there was nothing there. I'm like, yes. And I'll play it off all day, make him sweat for 12 hours.
Literally all day. I was a grumpy ass
Oh,
person.
I know.
all day
I've
at
had to
work.
deal with both you and Wes
all day
all
at work.
day.
I was
literally
like,
have 2 messages from one from each of you of just bitching about release after release and announcement and tweet, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't wait to just be like, look at it.
oh yeah, I'll get you
So
your money like ASAP. Just either send me
if you do it tonight, I can get it out in the mail tomorrow.
Oh well, of course I'll do it tonight.
It's like a plan.
Awesome.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this week's Modern Toy Fair news. Hopefully, whichever version, episode, category, whatever you want to call it, you're watching, you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. Also, hit the little bell to get notifications when our videos go up. We have Modern Toy Fair news on Fridays and Modern Toy Fair reviews on Mondays. Jamar, please tell the lovely fans where they can find you and what's going on with you.
Absolutely. Well, you can find me on my podcast that I host called Why Are You a Gamer? The elevator pitch. Why do we play video games? I find out each and every Monday a new episode goes live. I have a really, really great episode that you don't want to miss out on because I had a small cameo from ex-president Barack Obama. So if you're curious, definitely listen to the most recent episode. And on top of that, we're going to have a review, Why Are You review for Ghost of Tsushima. So if you're curious about my opinions on that, check it out. So you get 2 episodes for the price of 1, which is free.
And that's the best kind. That's
value.
buy none, get 2 free, people.
Right.
Like
but
that is the wet dream of deals.
I know you like your deals, but for anything
I
else, just follow me at Jamar_games. And like I said in the intro, the underscore games is not my actual name, just so you know. It's just Jamar. Just to
yes, and in case you were confused and actually thought his Twitter/gaming handle was his actual name.
2020, man.
There's the explanation for you. I also want to point out that ex-president sounds like we had a bad breakup.
Yeah, that's true. I
feel like former president may have been the better way to phrase that.
Former president.
The ex-president, like that's when you impeach the motherfucker. But yeah, so you can find both me and Jamar over at Media Junkie on the Fanboy Fight Club podcast, where essentially we take nerdy and pop culture shit and argue about it, and you get some points, and some people don't get points, and then someone's the bitch of the week. We all argue because we're mad, and then we move on to the next episode. And then I am also on the Gimmick Minute Wrestling podcast at Media Junkie, where me, Jason, and Kevin essentially just shoot the shit for an hour and talk about everything wrestling that happened the past week. If you want to support the channel and help us buy more turtles, go to tpublic.com. I realize that I've been telling everybody, hey, search Modern Toy Fair and it'll bring up the logo and yada yada. I keep putting the link in the actual description of the episode, so just click that, save yourself the time, give it a look. There is a new shirt up though. It is, I believe, until Sunday going to be on sale for $13. It is the Sad Face I Wasn't There Comic-Con 2020 shirt. Essentially, it looks like pipe it in over fancy graphic now, but it looks like the Comic-Con logo, but it's a sad crying eye instead of a angry eye, and it says I wasn't there. So if you want something to sadly remind you that Comic-Con was canceled, and yeah, also bring a little bit of joy because it's kind of funny looking. Buy that. I've noticed a little uptick in sales, so I don't know if that's from you guys. If it is, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Every little bit helps. But that's going to be it for this week. Hopefully we see you next week. Same toy time, same Toyfare channel. Thank you, everybody.